In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? The Film Noir Group has created both develops and challenges the traditional conventions of film noir films. We have included femme fatales, shadows, low-key lighting, a hard-boiled detective and finally a crime, which is a synonym for our title of mouth action. At the end of our opening we created a dream sequence which is influenced by both The Stranger on the Third Floor and The Lady from Shanghai. We first decided to create a dream sequence by looking at The Lady from Shanghai because I watched a documentary about film noir and that was the first clip that excited me about the film. Therefore, we decided to keep the film in black and white to really develop that specific convention of film noir, yet also including this dream sequence because of the interest it created. Then I looked at The Stranger on the Third Floor for more inspiration to create our dream sequence. This dream sequence lasted for 10 minutes, so it gave us a lot of techniques that we would include in our one. We started off by matching the start of their dream sequence as an interrogation, yet using different shot angles to make it that little more interesting. Following on, like The Stranger on the Third Floor, we included music to make the sequence seem more tense and excite the audience to want to watch more. By again including a stranger into our film, like the film noir film, it makes the audience anxious as they aren't quite sure who the character is, which makes them worried for the protagonist of Summer. Because our film had to be modern as it is for an audience from the 21st century, my group was not only influenced by film noir but also neo-noir, which have similar conventions to film noir. However, created for the modern audience by including technology and colour etc. We used the neo-noir film of Sin City to give us some ideas and influence us to how we want to present our film. Like Sin City, we again used black and white throughout, however, told the story in a modern way and made all the red items in the film turn red, as that makes the audience aware that there is danger ahead, yet also gives an aspect of colour to interest all age groups. How does your media product represent particular social groups? Because our film was shot with teenagers, this makes it much more relatable to them and shows that even though we are a youthful group, we made a film using strict conventions of film noir, yet still represented particular social groups. Also, this film could represent the social group of elderly people because they have grown up with film noir films and it could bring back their memories of when they were a teenager. Females are also a social group being represented because using the femme fatale shows that the female is in power, which is the same convention as a traditional film noir film. Within a traditional film noir, females normally have the leading role and show an enigmatic character, which our group has stuck to because our main character is Summer, who has moral ambiguity. What kind of media institution might distribute your media product and why? Film noir films are distributed by many different companies, including such ones as Universal, 20th Century Fox, Paramount and Sony. Most are American, so because it is an individual British film, it might be hard to get the backing of a large company such as Sony. My group and I decided if we were to produce our film professionally, it would be a low budget. However, due to this, we would struggle to find an audience because of lack of funding for distribution costs. Hollywood distribution companies dominate the film industry. In 2012, the top 6 distributors in the UK are unsurprisingly all conglomerates. These include Sony, Universal, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, Disney and Paramount. Distribution heavily affects the success of a film. However, recently, large distributors have been funding independent films so they are able to distribute to large audiences. From this, Working Title would be a good one to use. This is because Working Title Films is a British film company based in London, owned by Universal Studios. This would be the best production company to use because it is owned by Universal and therefore they will be able to distribute a British film worldwide, so a wide audience will be found for the film. The recent film of The World's End was produced by this company and managed to do very well according to the box office by gaining over £26 million profit and being 95th on the charts, just under some fully American production distributing companies. Therefore, by using this company, it will be better for the neo-noir inspired film we are creating because it does very well both in Britain and overseas. Who would be the audience for your media product? The film my group has created may be of interest to older people. However, the target audience that we will think will be more likely to watch the film are teenagers because of the modern aspects that are included throughout the film. In addition, it is clear that younger people go to the cinema much more than any other age group because it is a nice place for them to hang out with friends, and also a lot of films are there to attract that age range. Furthermore, adults may not have enough time to go to cinema with all their work commitments, and if they have children, etc. So going for a coffee would be easier to meet up with their friends. They also may be put off by the thought that cinema is a youthful outing, and therefore there may be crowds of children who could maybe disrupt the audience during the viewing of the film. All of this information is supported by statistics showing that the age range of 15 to 24 years old is the range of people who go to cinema the most. So this is another factor of why we thought this audience would be the best to target. We are also young ourselves, so it just seems natural that we would target this audience as we have a good idea on what they will like. How did you address your audience? We made our film as a thriller because most of thrillers today are rated 15, and therefore the audience are between 15 and 24, so it addresses the right age that we wanted our target audience to be. We also included special effects. For example, we added the red hint to the lips so it isn't just completely black and white, because even though it is a film noir inspired film, we have tried to put a modern take onto it. Also, for the elderly audience, some of the traditional conventions of film noir are included which grandparents would particularly recognise. This is because they have grown up in that era and find it interesting to watch and remember movies from their childhood. Our group tried to make the editing creative, so shots became more interesting for the audience. Some shots were cut down to make it fast-paced to allow a sense of adrenaline, which would benefit young audiences as this matches the theme of modern action films today. What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product? It is clear that AS is a massive step from GCSE, with all the technology and work included. I had to conduct a vast amount of research on film noir and neo-noir films to inspire our film to demonstrate the theme. I also had to understand the necessity to use different camera shots and styles in order to make a creative film and make it interesting for our audience. I then had to teach myself the advanced skills of Final Cut Express so I could edit our film. First, we had to put the clips onto iMovie, which is a basic site to put all the clips into their correct place. After that, it was important to export the clips onto Final Cut Express, which allows a much more advanced editing quality. However, I did struggle to cut down the clips, which is essential to get the best shots. By using this technology, it helps pay more attention to detail when knowing that it is hard to undo a lot of cuts when done. This software has helped to turn clips into effects such as black and white or speeding and slowing down, which is essential for a part of our film. Also, the tool of using chroma key to make the lips have a tint of red to match the style of Sin City. Web 2.0 is a new phrase of the internet where audiences are encouraged to make their own media material and share. We are using this as we are planning to share and get feedback from the peers around us. Looking back on your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learnt in the progression from it to the full product? The preliminary task has helped us understand basic film conventions in order to look better. The task included the 180-degree rule. This is an imaginary line which runs between the heads of two characters. The camera is just allowed to cross the line when two characters are speaking, and this rule can't be broken as otherwise it looks like the characters are on the same side. Another task that has to be included is the shot reaction shot. This is demonstrated when a person performs an action and the reaction to this is recorded. For example, when two characters are in conversation, one person says something and the other's reaction is recorded. This was necessary for our film as the main part is an interrogation. Lastly, a match and action had to be created, which is when the start of an action is recorded and the second part of the action is recorded in a different camera shot. For example, this happens in our film when Callum walks through the door. We recorded when Callum walks up to the door and slightly starts to open it. Then we cut it by putting a camera in the room he is walking into in order to catch Callum walking through the door. The preliminary task has helped me to progress in terms of filming certain shots to look effective and also helped us understand the importance of continuity. For example, if a top button is undone in one scene, he then can't have it done up in another. This is something we had to deal with and made us realise it is easier to film it all in one day.